Just hours after posing for this smiling selfie, PM Anthony Albanese contradicted his new BFF when it was his turn to make a speech to the UN General Assembly. This is what Trump said about the UN.
All they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war.
And this was Albo's take.
The United Nations is much more than an arena for the great powers to veto each other's ambitions.
Trump had a crack at green energy.
If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail.
Albo defended it.
Clean energy can carry the world beyond the false choice between economic growth and environmental responsibility.
But you get the sense the Aussie PM knows which side his bread is buttered on.
The creation of the international rules-based order owes much to the post-war leadership of the United States of America.
He also made a point of referring to the US as Australia's principal ally, even if it was followed by what seemed like a subtle dig at Trump's tariffs.
As an economy engaged in the fastest-growing region of the world in human history, Australia champions the benefits of free and fair trade.
Looks like Albo and Trump will have plenty to talk about when he finally sits down with the US president at the White House on October 20.
An Australian grandmother jailed for smuggling meth into Japan will today learn if an appeal against her 6-year prison sentence is successful.
So today, Ben, 3 appeal judges on the Tokyo High Court threw out that appeal, ruling that Donna Nelson will have to go back to a Japanese prison and serve out the remainder of her 6-year sentence. She was given that following a trial last year. The court finding that she was guilty of drug smuggling, but she had been facing initially a much lengthier sentence, perhaps decades for that sort of crime in Japan. But Donna Nelson has always maintained that she's innocent and that she was the victim of a romance scam and had no idea that there were drugs in her suitcase when she landed at Narita International Airport in January of 2023. The judges in the initial trial and again in the appeal ruled that Donna Nelson had indeed been scammed, but they found that she ought to have been more suspicious. The man who scammed her, she was romanced and groomed for some 2 years over the phone by this man, Kelly, who had everyone convinced that he was a high-flying businessman and fashion designer. He booked her business class tickets through Laos to pick up a suitcase on the way that he said was a sample that he was going to consider selling in his boutique store in Japan. Now, of course, that was all bogus, and the suitcase had hidden inside of it 2 kilograms of meth. Now, what may come next, this is more or less the end of the legal avenues for Donna Nelson. There may be a diplomatic pathway towards trying to have her sentence served out in Australia, but that's not common, and that could be a very complicated and likely years-long process that is far from guaranteed, but it is something that her family may consider pushing for.
We've shown a willingness to do the best we can for the states, to work with them in a collaborative, considered, methodical way, and that's what this PC review is all about.
Caitlin, what is the Productivity Commission going to be looking at?
So the Productivity Commission will be looking at that 2018 deal. That deal put a floor in the amount that each state receives. And of course, there's a lot of East Coast states agitating over this arrangement because WA is faring quite well. And under this arrangement, WA is projected to receive $60 billion by 2029. So the terms of reference were released yesterday. Jim Chalmers announced them at a press conference in Brisbane. And he said that this is a natural review as part of the deal in 2018. It was always going to be reviewed. And so that is what the Productivity Commission will be doing next year. A lot of the East Coast states are obviously looking at WA, the wealthiest jurisdiction, and they have their own problems within their budgets. One of the lines of the terms of reference that was released yesterday was around exploring whether a different arrangement is something that would pose better outcomes for all jurisdictions. And so that is what the Productivity Commission will be looking at.